Good evening. I'm Marvin Sriserm, and you're watching 6 p.m. News Hub broadcast. Tonight, we're following top 4 stories around the world. A deadly mass shooting at Bondi Beach prompts police response. A powerful 7.7 magnitude quake strikes central Myanmar, causing widespread damage and casualties. European Union to provide 90 billion euro loan to Ukraine amidst the ongoing conflict. Coldplay Kiss Cam moment sparks viral scandal involving tech executives. More on these stories in the next segment. Police are investigating a mass shooting at Bondi Beach in Sydney that recently occurred on 14th December, prompting a major emergency response as officers work to determine the incentives on how and why it happened. And joining us live at the scene where the incident took place is Erika, Matsuura, who will be giving us more details on this horrific event.
I am reporting from Sydney, Australia. A deadly mass shooting at Bondi Beach has shocked Australia and raised serious concern about public safety. Bondi Beach is one of the country's most populous tourist destinations. The attack happened on Saturday, December 14th, in a crowded area near the beach. At the time, many people were relaxing at Bondi Beach, while others were attending a Jewish event celebrating the festival of Hanukkah. Police say 2 gunmen opened fire without warning from the higher position near the beach. The shooting caused immediate panic. People ran for safety. Some tried to help others who were injured. Authorities have confirmed that 10 people were killed, including one of the attackers. At least 40 people were injured, among them 2 police officers. One suspect was shot dead at the scene. The second gunman was arrested and now is in critical condition. Witnesses described the scene of fear and chaos. Emergency services arrived within minutes. Police secured the area and medical teams treated the injured. Several victims were taken to nearby hospitals. There were also acts of bravery. Video footage on social media appears to show a civilian tracking one of the gunmen and taking his weapon. Police say this brave action may have saved lives. Police have confirmed that there is no immediate threat to the public, but the area remains under investigation. Bomb dispersal teams are searching the scene after suspected explosive devices were found in the vehicle linked to the attack. The public has been advised to avoid Bondi Beach for now, for the shooting has become a major political issue in Australia. Government leaders strongly condemned the attack and offer condolences to the victims and their families. The government has also promised to review security measures in crowded public places. The incidents have renewed national debate over gun control and extremist violence. Australia is known for its strict gun laws, but this attack has raised questions about public safety in the future. As the investigation continues, the government faces growing pressure to provide clear answer. So this incident is not longer only a criminal case, it's a political challenge that tests national security and public trust. Reporting from Sydney, Australia, I am Erika.
Much appreciated for your insight on the matter, Erika. Now, a powerful 7.7 magnitude quake has struck central Myanmar on March 28, holding buildings and triggering nationwide response across the regions as authorities work to assess casualties, damages, and rescue efforts. Achitraya is joining us tonight from Bangkok, and she is going to give us more information on this disaster.
A powerful earthquake struck central Myanmar on 28 March 2025, causing widespread damage and leading to a major humanitarian and environmental crisis. The first earthquake, with a magnitude of 7.7, occurred at 12:50 p.m. local time, followed by a second of magnitude 6.4, 1 p.m. 02. The epicenter was located near Sakai, close to Mandalay, Myanmar's second largest city. Strong shaking was felt across large parts of the country as well as in neighboring areas such as Thailand and parts of China. In the following days, the human impacts of the disaster became increasingly clear, with more than 3,000 people killed, thousands injured, and many others reported missing. These numbers were expected to increase as rescue teams continued to searching through collapsed buildings. In Thailand, at least 20 people also lost their lives, including victims of the building collapse in Bangkok. In Myanmar, entire neighborhoods in Mandalay and Sakai were left severely damaged, like homes, roads, bridges, and public facilities were destroyed. Electricity, water supplies were cut off, and access to several areas remained extremely limited. In many locations, rescue efforts were carried out by local volunteers working with minimal equipment, moving rubble by hand in the hope of finding people still alive. The impact of the earthquake became worse due to long-term structural problems and limited emergency response capacity, which reduced the ability to respond quickly in some areas, especially in communities that were already vulnerable before the disaster occurred. At the same time, environmental conditions made this decision even more serious, with high temperatures combined with lack of shelter forced many survivors to stay outdoors for several days. Limited access to clean drinking water increases health risks, raising concerns about sanitation and spread of water-related and heat-related diseases. And moreover, pressure on the healthcare system increased quickly. Hospitals were overwhelmed with large numbers of injured people, while some health facilities were also damaged. Emergency medical teams were sent to affected areas, and large quantities of medical supplies and temporary shelters were delivered to support relief efforts. Although international assistance was provided, humanitarian organizations warned that long-term support would still be needed. Ongoing aftershocks continue to affect daily life, preventing many people from returning home and delaying recovery efforts. Overall, the earthquake was a strong reminder of how natural disaster can create long-lasting impacts on both humans and the environment. It also highlighted the importance of environmental preparedness, strong infrastructure, and disaster risk reduction in protecting lives and communities in the future.
Thank you for your information on the disaster, Achitraya. More stories after this break. Stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome back and let us continue. European Union has agreed to loan 90 billion euros to Ukraine in the coming months as the Russo-Ukrainian war continues to have keep government operation and essential services, according to EU leaders. Autchareeya is going to be elaborating on this topic.
Yes, European Union leaders have struck a deal to lend Ukraine 90 billion euros or around $105 billion over the next 2 years. This plan B relies on the EU ability to raise collective debt on capital markets. The funding provided between 2026 and 2027 will cover around 2/3 of Ukraine's estimated funding needs. The European Commission says Ukraine will require about 137 billion euros over the next 2 years, financed both for its military effort and essential public services, including salaries and pensions. The deal followed the collapse of the original Plan A, which proposed using 210 billion euros in frozen Russian and central bank assets held in the EU and Belgium. EU leaders failed to secure unanimous backing after Belgium raised concern over legal risk and possible retaliation from Russia. While interest generated by these assets is already being transferred to Ukraine, the principle remains untouched as Russia has launched legal action against the clearinghouse Euroclear. In response, Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused EU leaders of attempted robbery. And the plan B, the 90 billion euros, will be raised through joint EU borrowing. The loan will be interest-free for Ukraine, with the EU covering the borrowing costs. Ukraine will only be required to repay the loan if Russia eventually pays for reparations, or if frozen Russian assets are legally unlocked. Until then, repayment is expected to come from proceeds linked to Russian assets rather than Ukraine or budget. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky welcomed the deal, thanking leaders for support that strengthens Ukrainian resilience. Germany, Friedrich Merz, had been a strong supporter of the plan to use Russian frozen assets. Although the idea has not been dropped, the decision to borrow the money against the EU budget instead is seen as a setback for him. Nevertheless, he said the agreement sends a clear signal from Europe to Putin that support for Ukraine would continue. However, the deal faced opposition within the bloc, with Hungary and Slovakia refusing to back the deal, and the Czech Republic declining to provide guarantees. Significant cracks are appearing in the Union front. For now, Russian assets will stay frozen, and while this 90 billion euro loan buys Ukraine time, the ultimate question of who will pay for this war remains the EU's biggest unresolved challenge.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing with us, Achitraya. Now, on to our last story. On July 16th this year, a kids camp moment at Coldplay concerts in Boston has drawn widespread attention after two corporate executives were shown on screen, leading to online discussions and subsequent resignation as questions continue about how the situation unfolded. Chularat is joining us from America in Boston to give us more insight on this topic.
This story started with a small moment, but it didn't stay small for long. Who would have thought that a simple kids camp moment at a concert could end with a CEO losing his job? This happened on July 16, 2025 during a Coldplay concert at the stadium in Boston, USA. At the time, the concert was in a joyful mood. The kids camp were doing what it always does, moving across the crowd, showing couple, getting people to smile, laugh, and cheer. Then the camera stopped. On one couple in the audience, a man and a woman standing close hugging. At first, nothing seemed strange. The man has his arm around the woman's waist. They look comfortable. They look close, like a normal couple enjoying the show. But the moment their faces appear on the big screen, everything changed. The man quickly moved away from the camera. The woman raised her hand to cover her face. Both looked surprised, almost nervous, like they didn't want to be seen. That's when people started to notice, because on the kids camp, most people smiled, waved, and loved it all. This reaction felt different. It did not look shy. It looked like they were hiding something. Social media reacted immediately. Questions started pouring in. Why did they pull away? Why did they look so uncomfortable? And of course, the internet didn't let it go. Not long after, people discovered the man in the video was an environment. The CEO of the tech company called astronomer. Then came another reveal. The woman was Kristen Cabot, the company chief people officer, basically the head of HR. And then come to the detail that changed everything. Andy Barron is married. That one fact turned a fun kids camp moment into a major online drama. Andy Barron's name began trending. The video was shared again and again. Memes flooded social media, coming real louder and much harsher. Even on stage, Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin reacted to the moment, joking, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. That one line pushed the clip even deeper into viral territory. Soon after the backlash grew, Astronomer released a statement placing Andy Barron on temporary leave. Then came to the headline everyone was talking about. Andy Barron stepped down as a CEO. Later on, Kristen Cabot also left her position. the resignation, only fueled more debates online. Some people argue this was never really about the kids camp, but about leadership and professional boundaries. Others feel social media went too far, turning a private moment into a very public issue. A few seconds on screen were enough to change careers, and more detail came out. In the end, this moment is a clear reminder in the age of social media, nothing stays small. A simple heart caught on camera can turn into a major headline when there is more behind the story. As of now, Anne Barron has not made any further public comments. But one thing is clear, this conversation online is far from over.
What an interesting way to ruin reputation and happy marriage. Thank you for sharing with us. Now, on to our last segment, which brings us to the end of our coverage tonight. Before we go, here is a final look at tonight's stories. A deadly mass shooting at Bondi Beach prompts major police response. A powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake strikes central Myanmar, causing widespread damage and casualties. European Union provides €90 billion loan to Ukraine amidst the ongoing conflict. Coldplay Kiss Cam moment sparks viral scandal involving tech executives. This has been News Hub broadcast, and I'm Marvin Sriserm. Thank you for joining us this evening, and stay tuned for more. Until then, have a good day.